Why are there so many former left-wingers turning into rank-and-file Republicans? Maybe they're, in other words, I think that they know that you're not a Trump supporter, Kim. I think they mean other people. So I think they're trying to say that, for example, RFK is kind of falling
Oh,
in line and going, what are your
like a
thoughts?
lot of
Thank you.
Democrats are switching over to the Republican Party. I mean, I think we're seeing a shakeup of the parties, and we're seeing a lot of people from the right, like Dick Cheney, move to the left. Or I wouldn't say right to left. I would say perhaps the parties are shifting themselves. So we've seen, like a lot of the intelligence community, the warmongering community, the military industrial complex, the Dick Cheneys of the world supporting Democrats. And we're seeing people who had previously been Kennedy Democrats now supporting Republicans.
I think what you're actually saying is just there are some people very far on the left who are anti-establishment, who hate the United States, and these people find themselves in easy company when it goes to aligning with people on the very far right. And then I think that the fact that like the whole MAGA people are generally just anti-establishment means that it's very easy to get anybody else that hates the United States or hates the establishment or takes foreign money from people like Russia or Iran or China to all go and join their groups as well. So I think that it's a pretty easy alliance when you get a bunch of people that hate the state, hate the government, hate the institutions, and are just in general anti-establishment. And they
I don't
stand for
pretend to
nothing.
know how people are thinking or feeling, nor do I have any desire to insult people.
How, you don't know
This
what
one,
people are thinking or feel. How do you make comments on anything
I'm not
publicly
going to
ever?
sit here and claim that all of these people hate America when they're participating in the democratic process. I'm not going to make those types of characterizations or call them basket of deplorables or do any sort of insulting of my fellow Americans because they're participating in democracy and they decide that the person that you want to vote for is not who they want to vote for.
Okay, well, that's great. I will call out people who I think take money from other countries and they don't declare it. People like who worked under tenant media, other people that are still operating in this media environment, people like yourself probably. I think it's worth calling those people out when they have other
I don't
kinds of
take
allegiances to
money
other
from,
countries.
are you
Number
claiming, are
one,
you making it, did you just say that I'm taking money from any other, what did you just say?
probably, almost assuredly, yes. And then number two, I think that it's worth calling out
Okay.
people that I feel have anti-American ideas. So, for instance, when Donald Trump says he wants to destroy the Constitution or suspend the Constitution, I think that that's worth calling out. The Constitution exists
Yeah.
above all three branches of
You're a
government.
piece of
So,
shit. Let me just say it. You're a piece of shit. Sorry, you just are. To make that kind of characterization of me, to make a claim that you know nothing about, I've never taken a single dime from any other country, not even this country. I am completely independent. And for you to make that sort of characterization, that sort of slander, that sort of slur right here in front of everybody, you're a piece of shit. And I speak for a lot of people when I say
I'm
that.
sure you do. And I'm sure they're all flying to
I
Moscow
want to
right
move to
now,
the next
comrade. Thank
question
you.
just because Rayval says, question for both debaters, is Putin a dictator? And will you denounce Russia's involvement with tenant media?
Is Putin a dictator? Yeah, obviously, of course.
I mean, what's a dictator?
A dictator is somebody that rules without having themselves able to be questioned by their population with free and fair elections. Oftentimes, it's through a singular party. Oftentimes, it's through a top-down authoritarian control, meaning they don't just control the state and the government like Putin does. They also control large swaths of the economy and the population through oligarchies, which he does. And they also tend to control the distribution of media through organizations like RT, which he does. That would be a dictator.
This
Well,
one's
then
coming
you
in
just
from
described the Democratic Party. I mean,
Which
so
which major media organizations the Democratic Party dictate policy to?
CNN, MSNBC, all of the liberal mainstream media outlets that are taking direct talking points, speaking in unison. We see this all the time when they all come out saying the same exact thing, tweeting it all out, all in unison, like they got talking points from the DNC.
If that's possible, then why did all of the media attack Biden and force him to step down? If Biden is a
Because
dictator,
that's what they. Biden's not the dictator. It's
Who's the
it's the
dictator?
people behind.
The
Well,
people are
whoever's
the dictator?
controlling.
That's called a democracy.
No, the DNC.
The people?
It's not a democracy. Whoever chose Kamala Harris, because it certainly wasn't the people.
The voter, well, we actually did when we voted for that ticket last time. You know, if Biden died, you know that
That
Harris
last
would have also
time.
just stepped up to be the leader on the ticket. If Biden died, would that have been anti-democratic?
Should George Bush continue to be president because people voted for him once? So if they vote for him once, it's okay to just keep putting the person in over and over and over again? I mean, that logic fails. You have to vote every single time. That's why we have democracy.
We
That's
vote
why
in the
continue to
elections and the
vote.
general elections. Yes, we do. We vote in the general elections. And typically, yeah, your incumbent does run again over and over again, which is what George Bush did. Yeah, that's what happens.
speaking
Correct.
of the general
Well, wait.
election.
Do we not feel like
Question-
Putin? Wait, so is Putin not a dictator?
I don't know if he's a dictator. I'm not Russian. I don't really care. It's
Rayval
not my
says,
country. It's not my country. I don't deal with it.
Wait,
We've
so
all
wait, do we not care then?
look at
Because the United States has to oppose, like,
No, we
Russia.
don't have to oppose. We don't have to get involved with other countries and other elections. The Russian people are strong people. They're not children. If they want to make change, they will. I don't need them to come and make change for me in my country, and I don't need to go over there and make change for them in theirs.
What if they want to go and make changes in other countries? You don't think the United States or anybody else has an obligation to help?
Do you think that the United States doesn't meddle in other countries' elections or stage coups?
I have no
or...
idea what that question was about. I'm asking, if Russia wants to invade its neighbors, do you not think other countries have an obligation to help?
No, we don't have an obligation to help. If,
Okay, so
if a country can't defend its own borders, then we can help. It's not an obligation.
Do you think that in Do you think that in World War II, do you think the United States should have stepped up to fight against Germany?
I think that the United States.
That's such an easy yes or no question. Should we have stepped up to fight against? It's such an easy yes or no question. Should the United States have stepped up to fight against Germany?
It's not an easy yes or no question. The United States decided it was in the United States' interest after the bombing of Pearl Harbor to go into that war. Prior to that point, the United States did not.
They're giving me. I'm asking you, should the United States?
Had there not been the bombing of Pearl Harbor, I don't know.
So we don't even know if we should have opposed the Nazis. Okay, so let's say that you see somebody who's taking over.
I'm not saying that you don't have to oppose the Nazis. I'm just not saying we need to go to war with every single person that we oppose.
I never said go to war with every single person we oppose. I just asked if we should fought in World War II against the Nazis. They didn't bomb us. Japan did, right? Maybe we should have just gone to war with Japan.
Well, I mean, we largely did, but then we went into Europe. We were begged by England to go in, and we went in. I'm not saying, look,
we were helping the Soviets beforehand, right? The only reason the Soviets could fight is because of Lend-Lease. It's because of our funding of the Soviets to give them enough raw materials. I think it's a really important point. I think it's kind of crazy that we can't say that Putin is a dictator, or that we can't say that any country on the planet should have an obligation to help other countries.
I don't think there's an obligation. You can go in if you feel like you need to go in. If I was alive during World War II, I probably would have said, yes, we need to go in. But that doesn't make it an obligation. There's no obligation.
Don't you have an obligation to your own people to create a better world?
Yes, you have an obligation to your own country, your own people.
So let's pretend for instance, let's say for one second, let's say we don't have a child's view of foreign policy. What if a country was invading Mexico to the south, and the country was called the Kill All People country, and we saw them about to invade Mexico? Wouldn't it behoove us to help Mexico to resist the invasion of the Kill All People country before they're on our border?
It would probably be in our best interest because Mexico's on our border. So we wouldn't want them coming into a nation that's on our border. So yes, that would be something that we would probably want to do. But again, it's not an obligation. So if you like what Hillary Clinton has done, if you think that she did an excellent job with foreign policy, then Kamala Harris, I suppose you would think that she's got excellent policy points.
Real quick, what's one good, what is a Jill Stein foreign policy point?
Ending the genocide in Gaza.
How?
By stopping support of Israel. Israel is reliant on our support in order to continue doing what they're doing.
Okay, so Israel's not relying on our support to continue doing what they're doing. They can absolutely fund themselves. I think that one of the biggest red herrings for basically somebody who is a paid foreign asset or somebody who just knows nothing about foreign policy is usually when they talk about peace a lot in their foreign policy plan. Peace is a meaningless word. Nobody wants peace. People want justice. It's very easy if somebody's invading your village and wants to take over your entire country or take over your entire city to say, oh, well, let's just be peaceful and lay down our arms and let them take over everything and steal our economy and lead our country and dictate to us what we ought to do. Nobody wants peace. People want justice. They want to feel like something is happening that is satisfying the desires that they have as a nation, as a country, as they are entitled to in the world. So when Jill Stein says things like, I want to defund our military by like 75%, when she's saying things like, I want to delete over 700 U.S. foreign military bases, when she's saying things like, I want to end all of our involvement in every single conflict ever, what she's actually saying is, I want to create more room on the planet to make the world multipolar. I want Russia to be deciding how Russia-Ukraine ends. I don't want the United States to have any involvement there. I want China to be signing deals between Saudi Arabia and Iran. I don't want the United States to be involved there. I want all of our foreign adversaries to be the ones that are dictating policy to the rest of the world. Because remember, just because the United States steps back from a leadership position doesn't mean nobody else is going to take their place, which is exactly what everybody that says peace, peace, peace like Jill Stein wants to happen. They want other countries to be those leaders and not the United States, for whatever reason.
Any pithy rejoinders, Tim, and then we'll go to the next question.
Why should the United States be controlling the entire world? We don't even have the majority of the population. So when we go to talk about democracy, why should this nation that has 330 million be controlling a planet of 8 billion people? First of all. Secondly, we shouldn't have anything to do with these conflicts. They're not our conflicts. These are not our fights. If Israel can continue to fund itself, great. Why does my money need to go to their fight then, if that's the case? Then you should be advocating to stop sending support to Israel if they could take care of themselves. Why are we wasting my dollars?
Because I think the United States is probably the most moral country right now to head the world hegemony. I think that Europe has seen an unprecedented era of peace under United States leadership. What would be a country that would be better than the United States to take point on that? Is it going to be Russia, who wants to invade and rape all their neighboring countries? Is it going to be China, who is abusing the entire continent of Africa and doesn't even give their own population the ability to vote in free and fair elections? What other country besides the United States would be best at the helm of the world?
I appreciate that, Destiny.
All right, bye.
Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.